Okay, welcome back to Mental Health Tips session 16. Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about forgiveness. Now, it's a very common word, but it's not a word that is very pleasing to many. Because if you're in a mode of hatred and so on, and your value system says, I have to forgive, it will create a lot of stress. So, hatred is by itself a problem. Hatred is a pain, it's a kind of pain. And then there is this guilt about this hatred because something's telling you, I must forgive also. But you can't. So you see, mind condition is not in such a way that it can be shifted like that. So I'm going to talk about forgiveness. See, whenever there is a test on relationship in relation to people hurting us, so some people cannot forgive, cannot forget. So that's one stage. Now, what I'm saying is you need to experience that self within you in your lifetime. It's important that you experience a self that cannot forgive and cannot forget. When you go through that phase, see, it's for you to see what happens so that any development that happens out of that is organic. It's real. It's not because somebody say. So that's the lowest stage. Then you have people who can forgive but cannot forget, Yeah, that's another stage. And you need to experience that. Just allow for this experience in a very natural way. All you do is observation. And from there you can learn a lot of things and transform. And the third stage is you can forgive and you can forget. Also experience that self. Now, all this can be the same problem, same type of problem, but you are evolving from cannot forgive, cannot forget to forgive, cannot forget to can forgive, can forget. Now, I would recommend you the highest. That is no need to forgive. A state where you don't need to forgive. That state is where you already have total acceptance for people's weaknesses, imperfection. You know that people can go wrong. And deep down, you have this clear wisdom telling you that they are also in their own journey. If can help them, and it's so clear to you that there is a good self inside them also, just like it's inside us, and it may need help. See, a lot of time people's hatred are actually cry for help. If somebody's hating you, it's like a cry for help actually. So this so we are all tested in relationship on all these four levels, and I would recommend go through all so that you will realize yourself. I'm not interested to just tell you, hey, forgive, just forgive. No, it has to be organic. It has to come naturally. And once you arrive at the highest, where you come to a place where you don't need to forgive others because you don't hate others, you have lost the ability to hate. I'm saying this from my own experience. Let me just share with you a quick sharing my on one experience on this. Many years ago, I had a boss where I hated the boss. I experienced hatred for someone because I sensed unfairness and betrayal, and I'm not used to people talking to me without respect. So hatred was playing in my head, and I have two choices. I have two choices, sorry. One is to leave the organization because he's my boss. The other choice is to forgive him and go on because I need the money while I'm looking for another job. Yeah, I had that two choices. So I chose, I can't leave because I need the money. I need my salary. So I chose to learn how to forgive. So this was many years ago. And there was this one morning, I couldn't function because of this hatred. Early morning, this guy disturbed my mind and I couldn't work. And it was a severe, almost very traumatic for me. My own hatred was traumatic. So I ran down to the nearest food stall nearby, and I was taught this particular technique. Just imagine this hatred as some black cloud inside and hot. So you take the opposite, you consume the opposite. Take something white and coal. So bring that imagination, that you are actually removing this dark cloud with this white thing. So either you can take milk or soya bean. So I took soya bean, and it was cold. And this cool thing was cooling down my heart as I'm doing this. So it's just an imagination, because the hatred is also imagination, is it? So that was a forced imagination, automatic imagination, the hatred. So I had to put conscious imagination of the opposite. And I will say this, he know not what he's doing. I've come to that understanding that actually people don't know what they're doing. That innocence behind that, I was able to feel the naiveness towards life purpose and so on. I have deep understanding for that. So that helped me, with that statement, you know not what you're doing. It was like, I felt him like a child who has his own journey. So as I was uttering this, almost like a mantra, you know not what you're doing, and I'm drinking this soya bean, cold soya bean, and I closed my eyes, and I forgive you. You don't know what you're doing. I forgive you. You know how doing it. Now, I have previously tried this, and I couldn't do much. The thoughts were hitting my head. But this time, I think it pushed me to a corner and checkmated me, and that I have to do properly. I have to do in the best way. And I did it in the best way, and I could experience. As I was doing, suddenly, I came to this space of above human mediocrity. One person's imperfection affects others, and their imperfection comes out, affects the person who produced that imperfection. So it's like, it's a game in the world of mediocrity. It's like I just came above that as a very understanding being to everybody's weaknesses. Reaching the dimension was so valuable that I don't know how to explain here. It was very emotional. It was an experience of unconditional love. And I was tearing a bit. My eyes was closed. And I was going through an experience of forgiveness. That's what we meant by forgiveness. It's not just a concept. It is experiencing that state. So it's a state of love for all human. And allowance. It is giving allowance for people to be wrong. So as I was like that, I was staring like this. And when I opened my eyes, to my astonishment, a friend of mine came with somebody else. And this somebody else has got a training company where they do all this attitude change training, all this human development training. And he introduced ourselves, and he asked me, "Oh, okay, you are doing marketing here. Okay. Would you like to work for me?" Wow. It was like, what happened? I just forgave someone, and there is this invitation for another job. And I was not very clear of the job at that time, but I just say yes. I just knew that some changes are required. Yes. And later, when I enter into that job, I found that it is this job, this material that I'm talking to you. And this man who came to offer me that is like an angel for me. Until now, I will never, uh, it's an eternal gratitude for him always, because he gave me my life purpose. That is my purpose. This is my purpose. And I always had this wisdom within me that I know it is meaningful for others. So, and I had a way of presenting where it could bring tears to others always. I was shocked. I'm not trained to be a presenter. And I'll just speak and people cry. And I get a lot of, people pray for me. I know a lot of love is received out of this program. It was a real transformational program. So I'm so thankful to the boss. So the point is this. This is the point. This is the thing. Can you imagine the magic, the miracle that happened? Here, I completely forgave someone, opened the eyes. The job that I'm supposed to do is waiting for me. The universe is just waiting for this awakening. But previously, I was dealing with the hatred and what is right, what is wrong, how bad he is, how can he. All that became irrelevant because those are the games played by the hands of the universe. And I didn't know. So that was a major paradigm shift for me. And from that day onwards, I couldn't hate anyone. I can only disagree with the behavior and wait in patience for their change. And if I can help, I will help. I know in my heart that everybody is good. And I know one day all of you will realize that everybody is actually good and they're finding ways to experience the goodness and to bring it out. They're waiting for it. That is why we make them feel bad, they fight and bring out the anger. You try criticizing them, you make them feel lousy. But make them feel good, they like you. Why? Deep down, the goodness is trying to find, it's trying to find the experience of goodness in everything that we do. We need to feel good about ourselves. So here I'm trying to say how I arrived at a place where I don't need to forgive anymore. I don't practice forgiveness anymore. Those are all needed when I was having this disagreement and hatred and feeling of unfairness. But I have strong disagreements and I make my choices out of a space of forgiveness. It's always like, I don't hate people anymore. Because hatred is not our natural tendency. You can disagree with people, but hatred, hate who? That is the other aspect of the universe. You're hating the universe. So that's why when you hate universe, be prepared for a lot of tests. Those who are playing with hatred, I want to tell you, that is a self-sabotaging emotion. Just become aware if it is there. I'm not asking you to remove it. Just become aware that that's a self-sabotaging vibration. It cuts you off with the connection with the whole. Those who hate a lot will die fast, will have all kinds of ailments and all that. So that's not our nature. Hatred is not nature. You can be in strong disagreement. But let's say you can't control it, then follow the four release method. Release. Find how you can release this hatred. It won't stay there for too long. Release it, release it. You may have to scold that person. You may have to see the person and even, say things that you feel good. Whatever it is, the first release session is necessary. Release it in your own way. Then move to the second release. Release the learning that's coming from here. The third level of release is release the blessing, how these are all actually blessings. In a way, it's good. And then fourth one is what you're supposed to do. That's where the forgiveness comes in. If you feel like, yeah, I need to forget, let it happen in the fourth stage. Then it will be very organic. So in this session, I'm asking you to actually allow the experience of that four self that cannot forgive and cannot forget, self that cannot forgive and cannot forget, self that can forgive and can forget, and the self that need not forgive. See you in the next session. Yeah, take care.